Okay, so welcome to my first ever speed build on this channel. Um, this speed build is, of course, as you've seen, Planet Zoo, and what I did here was a indoor zoo in the Arctic. I think I'll definitely upload a whole zoo tour of the zoo so far. I tried to put it up before this video goes up, but if it's not up while you're watching this video, I'll definitely put it up later on YouTube. So yeah, you might be wondering what that #1 fan thingy on the top right means. It's just I stream as well. So while I stream, I record my streams basically and then cut them for those speed builds. So if you want to follow my whole build in normal speed, you can always come to my stream. I would really enjoy that. I would be very thankful. So yeah, for now you can see I'm doing a bit more of decoration inside of this corridor. That's the corridor for the guests. So this whole zoo is indoor, except for some animals that live in the Arctic, like the Arctic wolves, and maybe I'll put in some reindeer or doll sheep later. But once I'm done with that, you can see me building a Komodo dragon habitat. I think the Komodo dragons are really hard to build a habitat for. I don't know if any of you made that experience as well. Well, of those who have played Planet Zoo, they really don't like a lot of foliage, they don't climb, so you can't do some climbing frame to make the habitat look more interesting. So basically, you have to build a lot of just, I don't know, grass as much as possible, and I think you'll have to do a lot with rocks, which I haven't done in this building so far. I definitely gonna come back and put in some more rocks for decoration, but for now I just built mostly everything, so I really think the only thing missing after this video is gonna be some more rocks. Yeah, so my idea with this zoo was to get all these warm temperature loving animals and get them into an Arctic environment without it being too unrealistic with, let's say, open enclosures with lots of heaters in there. It works in game, but it's not realistic enough. So I tried to build those indoor habitats and try to emulate their real living space from the real world, like put in some waterfalls, some lakes, and try to make it as interesting as possible for the animals. Yeah, you can see that type of decoration I'm doing here. I have that all along the corridor. It's really a pain in the ass, I have to say, to build that, but I know it kind of gives this whole base a sort of an interesting feel to it, because as I said, I want to get this basic, like, base research type of zoo. So I don't want to put in too much decoration, food stores or something like that. It just wouldn't fit, in my opinion. So I try to do a lot with those designs on the wall to make it seem like it's sleek and clean. So you won't see too much decoration on the walls in this zoo. I do work with some displays in the middle. I think that works out pretty well. Also, I like the shops to be like popping out of the wall, so you have some differences when you go down the corridor as a zoo guest. So yeah, for this habitat, I decided to build, like, to make the main attraction in that habitat, a cave. Because usually when I build a habitat, I always want to have one thing in there, or like one building in there that makes it pop out, that makes it unique. And for me, in this case, it was a fully rock cave, which eventually I hope they'll be able to climb up on. But for now, I just can't seem to get it right, so they can't get up yet. Have to fix that later. Yeah, I also put in some water. You see that later. But in general, I had a lot of problems with these animals. They also have very, in my opinion, bad terrain preferences. So they need a lot of rock, a lot of sand. But at the same time, they're also fine with a lot of grass, but you can't give them a lot of grass because they need rock and sand, obviously. And I don't know, it's kind of got complicated. I think it turned out fine in the end. I made it mainly soil with the occasional sand and rock, but Yeah, I have to fix it up with some more rocks to make it look more appealing to the eye, let's say. Um, yeah, so the next part is just me building that rock cave. I think that's like one of the things everyone in Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster does. Like when in doubt, just build some rocks. They always help to make to elevate your build to new heights, aesthetic wise. um, yeah, also pop down 30, 40 rocks just to make it look like it's one big organic, natural occurrence. Like not just some straight rocks without turning them or anything. You have to put a lot of rocks inside of each other to make it look more realistic, which I'm fine with. I really like placing rocks. It's kind of fun. I don't know. Because no matter how you place it, it always looks different than before. Yeah, so for now, just enjoy that. Me building those rocks, and I'll come back to you later if I have something else to say. So what you can see me doing right now is just somehow trying to get it even enough, that whole rock area, to get my Komodos to go up there, but it just didn't work. It really just didn't work. So yeah, now comes the next annoying part, terrain. I really spent a lot of time playing with the terrain and making it look somehow good, but at the same time please the animals. Because for me, animal welfare is my #1 priority. In all of my franchise zoos as well, sandbox zoos, I always try to make it as good as possible for the animals. Especially with this zoo, the viewers, the zoo goers don't have a very good view on the exhibits, or the enclosures, but I don't care, because the animals are happy, and that's all that matters to me. So yeah, right now I'm thinking about putting in some river that comes out of the mountain and some lake. I had to play a little with the height there. Turned out well, turned out pretty good. Then, like, I like those shallow lakes or rivers. You can work a lot with plants there. I was going for a sort of mangrove look. For now, I'm just trying out different plants that fit. But yeah, at the end, I got that sort of mangrove forest look, as you can see there. Yeah, so and always with all of these types of enclosures, because I have them for other animals as well, that narrow or that flat front part and that huge back part, I never really know what to do with the front part. Usually I just put in some foliage, some rocks, some food trays, and some enrichment for the viewers to, so the animals can come there and the viewers can see them, the zoogoers. In this case, I made a very, very shallow watery, like a very shallow lake. I don't know, it would be like 10 centimeters or something, like 20 centimeters, just so they can simply walk through there without having to swim, and just gives it, again, this whole mangrove vibe with all the shallow waters that you can see in those type of areas. So yeah, now I'm just experimenting with the heaters. While on the topic of heaters, I think it really is bad that as of now, walls and ceilings don't stop the radius of the heater. So I can't make it too big, so I have to put in a lot of heaters, because I don't like it if, for example, my ceiling is cleared of snow. I like it when you have a snowy, snow-covered ceiling, and when you make the radius too big of those heaters, it just melts and just leaves a bad spot up there. As you saw right now, I tried to lower the range so far that the whole roof is still covered with snow. Yeah, I think the habitat is almost done. Yeah, I think finishing touches right now. And then I'll just go with some enrichment next. So yeah, I'll leave you to it. Yeah, now comes a bit of a stretch where I tried to manage my zoo, which was dying. So yeah, have fun looking at that. Okay, so now we're back to the enclosure. As you can see, I now I finish it up with enrichment and food trays. So that's almost done then. Yeah, for the enrichment, I usually just put it in there random. I don't see a point in making it, like placing it at a very specific point, especially with with most of those enrichment items. For example, I mean, you do have the elephants, for example, with that big waterfall that comes down from a metal frame. Things like that, I always like to place somewhere special, but for normal stuff like the ball or something, I just throw it in there completely random. Okay, so yeah, now do some education, but I think after that starts my next building part of this video. Yeah, as you can see, you've saw those displays I had there, the one with the tree. I'm trying to do something else like that. I have one more in this zoo as of now. It's a playground at the same time. This one you can see right now is just nature display. Like the people can go through there. There's a path below that mulch, so they can come there, sit there, and yeah, copying that thing is really annoying. I always slip and accidentally copy before I've marked everything, so you see me try a few times here. But I think I have to just start saving that as a blueprint. I don't know why I never did this as so far. Might do it after this video. Because it is really annoying just trying to copy everything, every single piece, marking every single piece by hand. Yeah, so I decided in the end to put some more rocks in this display. Like I have the playground, I have the nature display. Now I want to do something interesting with a small scene, so to say, that plays out. In the end, I decided to like. In the end, it turned out pretty cool, gotta say. But for now, while I was building this, I was just thinking of placing rocks and see how it turns out. And I think it turned out pretty well. But yeah, then came the idea to put a statue on there, and obviously it became the deer, because the dodo is not realistic enough. No, just kidding. I know, the deer just kind of fitted the best there, so I decided on the deer. I'm trying to decorate it a little bit. Yeah. And then I found those hedges, and that just made it clear for me that I have to do this. So just for the finishing touches, I'm putting in some lighting, some mist, some falling leaves as effects, and I think it turned out really good in the end. So I guess that's also it from me. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the last few seconds.